One speech, that's all it took to erase $26 billion and make China's richest man vanish for 3 years. But the real question is, what did Jack Ma actually say? This is the story of how a rejected English teacher became China's e-commerce emperor, built $1 trillion empire, then watched it crumble with a single mistake. Today, we're diving deep into the meteoric rise of Jack Ma, the fatal error that brought down his kingdom, and the shocking truth about what really happened to the man who dared to challenge the system. Jack Ma's story reads like fiction. Born in 1964 in Hangzhou, China, he was the kid who failed his university entrance exams twice. Picture this: a scrawny teenager riding his bike to the local hotel offering free English tours to foreign tourists just to practice the language. Most people called him crazy, but Ma had something different: vision. In the 1990s, while most Chinese people had never heard of the internet, Ma stumbled upon this thing called the World Wide Web during a trip to Seattle. He searched for beer and found results from every country except China. That moment changed everything. Ma returned to China with an impossible dream: to connect Chinese businesses to the world through the internet. In 1999, from his cramped apartment in Hangzhou, he gathered 17 friends and pitched them his vision for Alibaba. His presentation was passionate but chaotic. He had no technical background, couldn't code, and barely understood computers. Yet somehow, he convinced them. Alibaba started as a business-to-business platform, connecting Chinese manufacturers with international buyers. But Ma's real genius wasn't in the technology, it was in understanding people. While his competitors focused on features, Ma focused on trust. The breakthrough came with Taobao in 2003, when eBay dominated the Chinese market with a 90% share. Everyone said Ma was insane to compete. eBay had billions in funding and years of experience. But Ma understood something eBay didn't. Chinese consumers needed different solutions. While eBay charged listing fees, Taobao was free. While eBay had rigid policies, Taobao was flexible. And here's the masterstroke. Ma created Alipay, an escrow service that held buyers' money until they confirmed they received their goods. In a country where trust was scarce, this changed everything. Within 2 years, Taobao had destroyed eBay's dominance in China. By 2014, Alibaba's IPO became the largest in history at $25 billion. Ma wasn't just rich, he was a symbol. The English teacher who couldn't get a job at KFC had built China's answer to Amazon and PayPal combined. Ma became a celebrity CEO, known for his eccentric personality and unconventional leadership style. He dressed up as Michael Jackson at company parties, practiced Tai Chi, and spoke about making the world a better place through technology. He was China's Steve Jobs, charismatic, visionary, and seemingly untouchable. But power in China comes with invisible strings attached. October 24th, 2020, the Bund Financial Summit in Shanghai. Ma took the stage to deliver what he thought would be another inspiring speech about innovation and the future of finance. Instead, he signed his own professional death warrant. Ma criticized China's financial regulators, calling them old-fashioned and risk-averse. He argued that Chinese banks operated with a pawn-shop mentality and that innovation was being stifled by outdated regulations. The game in the future is about innovation, not just regulatory compliance, he declared. To Western ears, this might sound like typical corporate rhetoric, but in China, this was revolutionary and dangerous. Within days of Ma's speech, the Chinese government's response was swift and brutal. Ant Group's massive $37 billion IPO, set to be the world's largest, was suddenly canceled just 2 days before launch. The official reason was regulatory compliance, but everyone knew the truth. Ma had crossed a line. What followed was a systematic dismantling of Ma's empire. Regulators launched antitrust investigations into Alibaba. They imposed a record $2.8 billion fine for monopolistic practices. Ant Group was forced to restructure as a financial holding company subject to the same regulations as traditional banks. Ma's personal wealth plummeted by over $4 billion as investors fled Alibaba, lost a staggering $373 billion in market value, nearly halving the company's worth. But the most shocking part, Ma himself vanished. For nearly 3 months, Jack Ma was nowhere to be found. No public appearances, no social media posts, no statements from his companies. Rumors swirled wildly. Was he under house arrest? Had he fled the country? Was he even alive? The world's financial markets watched nervously. At one point, when Chinese media reported that someone with the surname Ma had been detained in Hangzhou, Alibaba's stock crashed 9.4% in a single day, wiping out $26 billion, all because of a name coincidence. Ma's story reveals a fundamental truth about power in modern China. No one, regardless of wealth or influence, is bigger than the system. The conclusion about billionaires in China is clear. No matter how rich or famous you are, if you run against the Communist Party, you will be punished. When Ma finally resurfaced in January 2021, he was a changed man. Gone was the flamboyant showman. In his place was someone who spoke carefully about giving back to society and supporting regulation. The message was clear. He had learned his lesson. Recently, Jack Ma has been making a gradual return, appearing in Beijing alongside other business leaders, hosted by President Xi Jinping. In November 2023, Ma posted an internal memo at Alibaba, urging the company to correct its course, his first major intervention since his disappearance. Alibaba has shown signs of recovery. Following historic reorganization and management changes, the company has staged a quiet $100 billion rally with AI development and Ma's gradual return at the heart of it. But make no mistake, this isn't the same Jack Ma who once dominated headlines worldwide. Jack Ma's rise and fall tells us everything about ambition, power, and the price of speaking truth to authority. He went from a rejected English teacher to China's richest man, built an empire that connected millions of people worldwide, then lost it all with a single speech. His story isn't just about one man. It's about the delicate balance between innovation and control, between individual ambition and systemic power. Ma thought his success had made him untouchable. He learned that in some places, no one is truly free to speak without consequences. Today, Ma remains wealthy but subdued. His companies profitable but regulated. His influence diminished but not entirely gone. He's a living reminder that in the game of power, there are rules that transcend money, fame, and success. The question isn't whether Jack Ma will fully return to his former glory.